Okay, start, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Sir, shall I start the session?
Start, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am? Ma'am, start, ma'am.
Yes, children. So we can have a small recap. So in the last few classes, we have seen about the criteria for classification, how to classify the animals. Okay, we classified them under two major headings. Okay, so we classified them. The kingdom Animalia is classified. Kingdom Animalia was classified as invertebrata as well as chordata chordata. Chordata includes prochordata and vertebrata. So when we speak, we are going to speak about invertebrata, prochordata and vertebrata. Okay, so invertebrata without any backbone-like structure. Prochordata, a backbone-like structure is formed. We call it as notochord, which is not a bony structure. And invertebrata, a solid bony vertebral column is formed. Okay, so gradually the animal develops the vertebral column. That's what we see from microorganism, then invertebrata, then prochordata, and finally vertebrata. Okay, so kingdom Animalia is classified into invertebrata and chordata again classified into prochordata and vertebrata. Clear? So under invertebrata, we're going to start from phylum Porifera. So usually, they used to start from protozoa, that is unicellular forms, but it is kept under a different heading called Protista. So we are starting from Porifera. Clear? Good morning, Naveen. Good morning. Okay. So before going into details, so we have a different branch of science called taxonomy. Is called taxonomy. Taxonomy is nothing but learning about the classification of animals. Okay, how each and every animal is classified, under what group it is kept, why it is kept, what are the special characters of that particular animal. That is called as taxonomy. Okay, so if you want to learn about amoeba, you learn about its characters, what is the basis for classification, everything. That is called taxonomy. Okay, so under this we have different branches. We say physiology when we learn about its functional aspects. We say morphology when we learn about its structure. So we have different branches. So taxonomy is the studying about the classification of animals based on their characters, similarities and differences. It's called taxonomy. Okay, so when we name an animal, generally we call, for example, we say cockroach. Okay, so cockroach is a general term given to an insect. Okay, we say generally cockroach. It's called as common name. Common name is cockroach. But in biological terms, okay, we say the zoological name. We say the zoological name. So what is zoology? Zoology is nothing but learning about animals. Learning about animals is called zoology. Okay, learning about plant is called botany. Okay, so learning about all the aspects of plant is called botany, and learning about animal is called zoology. Okay, so when we name an animal, we name in terms of zoological name. We say, okay, that is different from the common name. Okay, common name we say cockroach because when we say cockroach, it's understandable to everyone. Okay, see, we cannot go and say the zoological name to a common person. He might not know it. Okay, so when we have learned about zoology, when we learned about the biology, we know the zoological name. But to a common person, if you go and see, say Periplaneta americana, he will be blinking. What you are saying, I couldn't understand what you are saying. So we have a common name for everything. Okay, so even for human, to say human, but we have the zoological name Homo sapiens. Clear? Like that, we have a zoological name for every organism, particular name for every organism. but we have a common name also. Okay, so when we say cockroach, no, cockroach is a common name, but we have a specific zoological name that is called Periplaneta. Periplaneta americana. Americana. So each name, no, they don't just give the name as such. They have a reason behind everything. Okay, Periplaneta is a reason. It is a whenever we give a zoological name, we call one animal by two names. Periplaneta americana. See, this one name has two halves. So the Americana is a name given because the insect was first found in America. So like this, no, there's every reason behind it. Okay, each and every name, every term has a reason behind it. Okay, so cockroach is called as Periplaneta americana. Clear? So what is this? Why this two name is given? Not only two name. Okay, so when we put the animal under one group, okay, when we put an animal under one group, they should follow certain characters. Okay, for example, we can see the characters. I'll give one example. Okay, so we say the animal cockroach. We can take cockroach. So when we say when person learn taxonomy, no, when they say cockroach, okay. So what are the characters they want to say? First they will say cockroach belong to animal. So first thing is kingdom. They say first thing is kingdom. Kingdom, it is an animal. So they are differentiating it from plant. So it belongs to animal. So kingdom is animal. The major group is animal. Okay. Next, under what it comes? It comes under invertebrate. That is phylum. So kingdom animal, no, Animalia has two major groups. It has invertebrata and chordata. So under that Animalia kingdom, what group it belongs to? It belongs to invertebrate. No vertebral column. So cockroach comes under invertebrata. Cockroach comes under invertebrata. Okay, so under invertebrata, it comes under the big group called invertebrata. So first is the phylum. Phylum is the highest category. We say it belongs to kingdom Animalia. Okay, then phylum invertebrata. Under that, what it belongs to? It belongs to Arthropoda. It belongs to Arthropoda. Okay, this we say that hierarchy. We say we divide it. Okay, so kingdom Animalia, invertebrata, Arthropoda. Under Arthropoda means it has certain characters. See, Arthropoda meaning is jointed legs. The legs will be jointed. So all the animals which have jointed legs come under Arthropoda. See, what is jointed legs? See, one part will be like this. The other part will start like this. They will be jointed like this. Okay, so all the animals which have jointed legs come under Arthropoda. Clear? So under Arthropoda, this cockroach comes under another called class. Class Insecta. Class Insecta. So why cockroach comes under Insecta? See, this Arthropoda has many classes. Like we have orchid school. That is the kingdom. Okay, under orchid school we have different. We have students, teachers, then office workers, then attenders like that. That is the invertebrata. Okay, so you all come under, and the invertebrata is like a student class. Okay, students. Okay, so under students, what you come under? You come under grades. Okay, that grade is Arthropoda. Grade is Arthropoda. Okay, so under Arthropoda, we have many grades. Okay, to which grade you belong to? You belong to grade 9. That is the class. You belong to grade 9. Okay, so under grade 9, so what are the characters you have? Because you should be of year 13 to 14 years category. You have certain things. That is called grade. class in class. Okay, so when animals that come under insecta, no, they should have certain characters. What are the characters? They should have 3 pairs of legs. They should have 3 pairs of legs. So animals which have 3 pairs of legs all will come under class insecta. Like we say, children of all age group 13 to 14 will come under grade 9. Like this, animals which have 3 pair of legs, 3 on one side, other 3 on other side. We say 3 pair of legs. They all come under class insecta. Okay, now cockroach come under class insecta. Okay, so under class insecta, again you have sections, no, 9A, 9B, 9C. Like that, next comes the order. Order is like sections. Okay, so under that you have the order. Okay, sections we have. Okay, then under this, we cannot say it completes in order. Again, we have to specifically mention. Okay, so in grade 9, 9A section, we have girls and boys. We have 2 divisions like that. Okay, not female and female, I'm telling. We have many, that is under age group 13, under age group 14. We have like that, no. Then we have the family. We have the family. So when I have to call a person, no, I cannot say in Orchard School, go and call Rahini. Okay, if I say go and call Rahini in Orchard School, how the attender will call Rahini? Attender may not know which class she belongs to, which section she belongs to, what is her initial. That all she doesn't know that, isn't it? So what I have to say? I have to say go and call initial yes Rahini or M Rahini of section A of grade 9. Okay, so what we say, we give the correct information so that what are they need? They need the initial. They need the particular name. So even the initial is there, no? So many Rahinis can be there. So I have to say the initial. Call yes Rahini, call M Rahini. Okay, even if you have now one more name. Okay, Rahini Srinivas or Rahini some other like that. Okay, Naveen Kumar. Vignesh Kumar, like that. Okay, so there's a family is there. Then you have the species name. Species name is like the initial. Okay, so M Rahini, yes Rahini, like that, initial. Then genus name belongs to the particular individual, Rahini. Okay, so when we call a person, we should say the initial and then the name, M Rahini, that is species name and the genus name. This is what the classification means. Okay, so when you learn about the animal, you have to learn step by step. We say hierarchy. Hierarchy. We cannot just go and learn about cockroach. We have to learn about why it is placed in insecta, why it is placed under invertebrata, why it is placed under arthropoda. We have special reasons for everything. That learning of about this is called as taxonomy. Okay, so whenever we name in any individual, we name by 2 names. That is called binomial. Binomial. Bi means 2. Okay, binomial. For better understanding, for better learning of a character of an animal, we give 2 names. It is called binomial. Okay, we say binomial nomenclature. Nomenclature means naming, nothing but naming. Keeping name, giving names. It's called nomenclature. We give 2 names. That is called binomial nomenclature. Yes, got it, children? So we name it by species name and genus name. So Periplaneta. Periplaneta is the species name. Okay. So what is the genus name? Americana. So when we say Periplaneta americana, the zoologists can very easily understand. They are going to learn about cockroach. Got it, children? Did you understand? Did you understand, children? Okay. Do you understand the classification? Okay. So when we place an animal under each division, no, they should follow the character. If I place a cockroach in invertebrata, the cockroach should not contain the vertebral column. So all the animals which do not contain vertebral column come under invertebrata. If I keep cockroach in arthropoda, it should have jointed legs. If all the animals which have jointed legs come under arthropoda. If I keep cockroach in insecta, it should have 3 pairs of legs. So all the animal which have 3 pairs of legs should kept under insecta. See, dragonflies have 3 pairs of legs. Butterflies have 3 pairs of legs. Grasshopper have 3 pairs of legs. All types of locust have 3 pair of legs. All beetles have 3. Vandu, they have 3 pair of legs. The human loves have 3 pair of legs. Bedbug, all bugs have 3 pairs of legs. Yes, yes, Srinija. Not only every insect, every animal has zoological name. Every animal has zoological name. Okay. See, amoeba, we say in very simple amoeba. Amoeba name is Amoeba proteus. We have many types of amoeba. Okay, Amoeba proteus, the particular amoeba's name. Okay, see, man is called Homo sapien. Clear? So, cat is called Felis felis. Cat, we said cat, but cat has zoological name. Felis felis. No, you cannot write anything, Ashwin. You have to follow this order only. It is fixed. You cannot change the order. Yes, Jaffrin, just as I'll say about it when we talk about different animals. Okay, I'll explain each and every term just as. Okay, got it, children? You got this? Got it? Classification. Now we can go for individual classification. Okay. See, we saw both kingdom Animalia, subkingdom Invertebrata, phylum. So we are first going to see about phylum. Under Invertebrata, we are going to see about phylum Porifera. We are going to see about phylum Porifera. Okay, so what is Porifera? First we saw unicellular animals are called protozoa. From the unicellular animal, many cells were formed. Okay, they are called multicellular form. So animals that belong to Porifera, they have many cells. So all poriferans animals are multicellular. Okay, so when we place the animal under porifera, they should contain many cells in their body. They are called multicellular form. Maria can't see the board. Children, can you see the board? Everybody, can you see the board? Board is not visible. Maria, check your connection, Maria. So all poriferans are multicellular. Okay. What second character they should have? They should have pores in the body. Pores. They should have pores in the body. Okay. So they should have pores in the body. Since the animal have pores in the body, we call porifera. Okay. So all animals that come under porifera should have pores in the body. You know what is pore? Okay. Small holes should be there in the body. Clear? So next is these animals know they cannot move. They cannot move. They are non-motile. They are non-motile. Okay, motile means motile means movable. Motile means movable. Okay, they can move from one place to another. They can move from one place to another. Okay, when we say non-motile, when we say non-motile, they cannot move. Okay, they cannot move. So all the poriferan animals are non-motile. They cannot move. They are fixed. Okay, they are fixed. Next important character is all are aquatic animals. So what is aquatic animals? They can only live in water. They cannot live on land. Okay, they can live only in water. Okay, in water they're attached to any substance, any rock. Okay, these animals are attached to the bottom of the water body or in the rock. Okay, particularly new, but they are sea living animals mostly. Okay, they live in sea. Okay, so they all live in water. They are non-movable. They're attached to any other bottom of the sea or bottom of the rock, anything like that. Okay, they don't have any organs for locomotion. Okay, so how do, when they are not moving, no, how do they feed? They don't have any structures like mouth. Okay, they don't have any structures like mouth. Okay, see, their body is like this. They have a big opening. They have a big opening and their body is cylindrical like this. Okay, the base is attached to any rock or to the bottom of the sea. Okay, they don't have any mouth-like structure. Clear? So how do they feed? They, they are animals. They need food to live. How do they feed? See, when they live in water, what happens? They have a big opening like this. Moreover, they have small openings also. Clear? So what happens? No, water enters into the body. Water enters into the body. When water enters into the body, no, it carries small organisms or dirt particles. Okay, when water enters, it carries small organisms or dirt particles that will be captured, okay, inside, and the water alone will go out through the pores. Yes, Rahini. Okay, so water enters through the top portion along with the food substance. The food substance will be filtered inside the body, and only the water leaves out. Okay, through the small holes. Okay, so when water enters, no, the water had oxygen also dissolved in it. So the animal is able to absorb the oxygen. Okay, filter the small particles, and the remaining water will leave out through the holes present on the sides. Okay, these holes are called as ostia. These holes are called as ostia. Okay, so we all have hands to take the food and feed inside the mouth, isn't it? But they don't have any such organs. They don't have mouth. They don't have hands. Okay, nothing they have. Okay, so the water enters into it and leave through this. So it is called as canal system. Like water enters through a canal and leaves out through the other opening. No, like that it has. So it is called as canal system. Okay, through canal system, they receive oxygen and they receive the food. Okay, the small holes present in the body is called ostia. Okay, so if the animal cannot move, when there is lot of waves or when water is flowing in high speed, it can die. Okay, so to avoid it, no, the body has many spicule-like substance. See, spicule is nothing but see like this. The body has many spicule-like structures. Spicules we say to strengthen the body, so that the animal will not topple or die. Can stand erect. Okay, to make it stand erect, the body has many spicules. Like we had thorns in cactus, no? Like that, it has spicules all over the body to give a framework to make the animal stand intact. It has some spicules. Clear? It has some spicules. Got it, children? So here, no organ is there. It lives, no duration. It lives. Okay, it lives for if it gets proper oxygen, if it gets proper food, it can live. Okay, there is no lifespan for this. Okay, so there is no particular organ. It is multicellular, no. So a group of cell will take care of respiration. A group of cell will take care of digestion. A group of cell will take care of reproduction. Okay, so they reproduce both sexually and asexually. Got it, children? So all the animals which have pores come under porifera. All the animals which have many cells come under porifera. All the animals which do not have any organs come under porifera. Okay, all the animals which have pores and canal system come under porifera. Got it, children? So best example is cycon. Best example is cycon. They live in groups sometimes. They live in colonies. Okay, it's called cycon. There is no blood. There is no heart. There is no brain. There is no liver, lungs, nothing. Only a group of cells alone are present. Got it, children? Did you understand phylum Porifera? Phylum Porifera are called pore bearers. They have lot of pores in their body. Got it? Okay. Yes. Now we can see the second phylum. Okay. Second phylum, a little more advancement. We call phylum Coelenterata. Phylum Coelenterata. Okay. We have a reason to be called as Coelenterata because we saw about porifera, no, pore bearers. Okay. Likewise, we have the name why it gets Coelenterata. Okay. So the next phylum is phylum Coelenterata. A little advancement. Okay. Here also they have tissue grade of organization. First thing is they have tissues. Okay. There we saw multicellular, no? Yes, yes, jellyfish. Yes, very good, Justice. Yes, jellyfish comes under this. Okay. There we saw multicellular. Any group of cell will take care of certain functions, isn't it? But here, the group of cells are particular. Okay. Particular group of cells will take care of a particular function. That's what we say tissue grade of organization. Okay. This grade of organization. We have different tissues to take care of different functions. First, we have only cellular, multicellular level. Now we have tissue level, tissue grade. So those group of cells form different tissues to take care of different functions. So we say tissue grade of organization. Okay, they are also multicellular form, but tissue grade. Okay, first point. Second point is we saw about symmetry, no? When we divide the body, both the halves should get the equal number of organs. Okay, that is called bilateral symmetry. But coelenterate, no? When you divide it into two, no? They don't get, both the halves will not get the equal organs. Sorry. So, they are not bilateral symmetrical. They are radially symmetrical. They are radially symmetrical. When you cut into two, both the halves will not get all the organs. Okay, so they are not bilateral symmetrical. They are radially symmetrical. We have to cut along the central axis. So each axis will be getting all the organs. So we call it as radially symmetrical. Second point is all the animals are radially symmetrical. Okay, next point is we saw that the animals will be having germ layers, 3 germ layer, 2 germ layer. Those germ layer will give rise to future organs, isn't it? So here the animals are diploblastic. The animals are diploblastic. See, the embryo has only 2 germ layer, ectoderm and endoderm. There is no mesoderm. Okay, ectoderm give rise to outermost organs, endoderm give rise to innermost organs. Only 2 germ layers are there. Okay, so we call it as diploblastic. Clear? We call it as diploblastic. Okay, now what is this? Why we call as coelenterata? So I told you they are called as diploblastic, no? See, outermost layer is called ectoderm and innermost layer is called there is no endoderm, children. Sorry, only mesoderm is there, no endoderm. Okay, so outermost layer is called ectoderm and inner layer is called mesoderm. There is no endoderm. See, in between the ectoderm and endoderm, no, time is up. Okay, see, in between these two, you have one small canal, small vessel. Okay, we can see in the next class. Okay, children, thank you. Have a nice weekend. Go through the notes. Okay, children. Yes, you can end the meeting, ma'am. Thank you, children. Go through the notes what you have taken. If you have any doubts, kindly post in the next week. Thank you, children.